Hey guys, welcome to a super informative video about Mafia 3. Sit down and strap your butts in. You're about to learn some stuff that you probably already know, but hey, you're gonna watch this video anyway because you're excited as me for Mafia 3. I could summarize what this video is gonna be and tell you what it's gonna be all about, but I'm gonna do it point by point so it's exciting and you don't know what's gonna come next. So first, we're gonna do the Mafia 3 universe and how it's gonna reference the time period of the 1960s. So as we know, the game takes place in New Bordeaux, which is a reimagined version of New Orleans in the 1960s. So what was happening in the 1960s in that town? It's a city. Oh, it's a city, sorry. Well, firstly, racial tension was really high, and specifically in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, increased tension in the black community. This ties into what happens to Lincoln's mates when the black mob gets attacked and killed in the fire, as we see in the trailer. This is the betrayal that is referenced in the trailers and what motivates Lincoln's revenge plot. So there's going to be a lot of pro-segregation stuff everywhere, such as graffiti, signs, and even chatter on radio and even between characters. Also, the Vietnam War is still going on and Lincoln is returning from duty. There's a lot of anti-war sentiment around that time and there's much civil unrest amongst the people. The Vietnam War is a war that America really shouldn't have been in, and the people were not afraid of showing it through protests or other means. The 1960s was a period where there was a lot of shift in culture. The drug culture was rising, there was a rebellious nature at the time, and it saw the rise of like a new type of music and lots of nightclubs and just dirty shit. It was exciting, it was a time of change, it was a time of jazz, it was a time of sex, it was a time of drugs. And I'm really looking forward to Mafia showing this off and reflecting it in the world. Which brings us to the next point, the different districts. New Orleans, the Paris of America, the Crescent City.
This is New Orleans, the Crescent City, Paris of America. It squats in the middle of the Mississippi mud with the levees of a 19th century myth on one side, the dikes of modern industrialism on the other, and the old French Quarter, bright-eyed and exciting, ornamenting the city's beginning.
It's a pretty diverse place, and the game does justice, offering 9 different districts. We got the Bayeux. Is it pronounced Bayeux? The Bayeux, which is the swampy area. This is gonna be like some moonshine stuff you can go and crack down. That's gonna be a cool area we saw in the first trailer. And also the wealthy area where there's lots of rich people, some big buildings and big houses, which contrasts very much to the other parts of town, which is more run down and stuff like that. We got the French Ward, which is the nightlife and the jazz infused area of the world. Each one is going to be unique and very different. And the thing about New Orleans in the 1960s is there was a lot of like juxtaposition. There was like industrial area and housing, and everything was side by side. And I think that's one of the reasons why they chose that world or area to be represented in the game, because it's just so cool. Right? Perfect for Mafia. And you're gonna get to see all these places because you're gonna have to take them over for yourself from the mob bosses, the individual mob bosses that are like underneath the big mob boss. Yeah, it's like Hitman, I guess. You go kill them, and then after that you can assign them to your lieutenants. This brings us on to our third point. Your lieutenants are gonna play a large part in the game, and you're gonna act kind of like a skill tree. We got Cassandra, who's the leader of the Haitian mob and has her own gang. We got Burke, who was once loyal to the Italian mob. It's now on the same wavelength of revenge and is Irish, so should bring some good banter to the table. And Vito from Mafia II, of course, and also revenge against the Italian mob after they sidelined him after the events in the previous game. You know Vito, come on now. Each of these 3 are going to offer you different unlockables when you offer them or don't offer them the districts you take over. Now they'll work as kind of skill trees, so which kind of gameplay do you prefer, vehicle combat or muscle, etc. You assign the districts you take over to the lieutenants, and by assigning them the area you get the perks, so it kind of works like a skill tree where you're upgrading Lincoln's arsenal. However, you can go deep in one skill tree and ignore the other, whereas when it comes to lieutenants, they can get pissed off. It has consequences. So if you're gonna give everything to Vito like I'm gonna do, well, Burke and Cassandra are gonna get pissed off, and it opens up different storylines when that happens. So you can approach your lieutenants differently. You can also approach missions very differently. Point number 4, there are several ways to approach missions. Yeah, you can sneak in, get the job done and bust out. You can do it entirely stealthily a la Hitman, or you can just go in guns blazing like a fucking nut job. There's not much to say here, other than it's completely up to you, using the ability to call in backup from your lieutenants, and you can lend it to your approach as well. It gives another element to planning and on-the-fly decision making. I like this approach, and it'll give you more of a sandbox approach, like sandbox feel to the structured missions. Even though the missions are structured and quite linear as we saw in previous Mafia games, it now gives you the option to do it differently. In Mafia 2 and Mafia 1, you were given that structured mission, which was awesome, but now you're given a kind of different way to approach it. How do you want to do it? What kind of weapons do you want to bring? As you saw in the trailer, we had like the van where you can get the different guns out of. Sure, get a sniper rifle, snipe that dude, or run in and slit his balls off with a knife. I don't know. Next point. Number 5. You will not be able to customize Lincoln's appearance. Oh, god damn it. Some people are really angry. They want to put a shirt on Lincoln's back or something. The devs said that they were not going to introduce the ability to change Lincoln's appearance, as they wanted him to look a certain way for each mission. His appearance will change, but based on what is happening in the story and the mission you're in. So this means no clothes shops and no outfits. Some people will be bummed about this, and I think adding things like barber shops and clothes shops could be really cool to show off more of the character of the world and the time period. But hey, they want to be able to tell a story, and the character of Lincoln is a big part of that story. You just have to trust them on this. Number 6. Expect the same elements of gunplay and driving from the previous series, but with more. Alright, so Mafia excelled at gunplay, feeling the punch behind the guns, and delivered a really good experience when it came to blowing people's brains all over the walls. The same goes for Mafia 3, where the gunplay is a big focus of the development, and now they introduce some new elements such as dynamic cover as things get destroyed and move around, shooting from cover or blind firing, and also just running up and smashing someone's face in with your elbow. I forget what they call them, brutal kills or something like that. It's like the Doom kills. You're gonna have to play a lot with stuff including grenades and Molotovs, and also the driving is said to be a big part as well. In previous games, you know, it was cool. You get to drive from point to point and look at the scenery, but now they want to give it a more cinematic feel, and driving is more of a focus. Vehicle combat and stunt driving is said to be what it's going to be like. It looks like they want to give another element to the driving rather than just driving from point A to point B, which was in the previous games. And I don't know about you, well, I don't really like the driving part of it, but this might change my mind. It might be a bit more exciting, right? Number 7, and our last thing, expect Joe's story to be wrapped up and concluded. Now, one of the developers in an interview said that those who want to know what happened to Joe from Mafia 2, they're not going to be disappointed.
Another character who I know is very popular in the Mafia fan base, which is Joe, of course. Hayden alluded the other day to the fact that, you know, there are some loose ends there as well, and that people who are interested in knowing what happened to Joe are not going to be disappointed.
Now, I have a crazy batshit theory that Lincoln Clay is actually Joe's son. I have a video on that I made a while ago, and I still think it's going to be true. The guy just looks like Joe. There are several reasons why it could be. I won't go into them here, because if you want to watch that, then you're going to have to watch my other video. Plug. But anyway, people wanted to know what happened to Joe, and it looks like we're going to get some answers. It looks like Vito's motivation is going to be tied to what happened to in the previous game with the Italian mob and his friend Joe. Maybe he has some ties to Lincoln that he found out. I don't know. It's curious, and it could be something that could happen. And it'd be a good way to tie Mafia 3 to 2, where Mafia 2 was tied to Mafia 1, where Vito and Joe killed the protagonist from Mafia 1. It'd be kind of cool if Mafia 3 had a similar link other than Vito. What you gonna do? Tell me if you tell me if you agree with me in the comments. That was like a Jamaican Italian, I don't know what the fuck that was. But anyway, are you excited for Mafia 3? Tell me if you are in the comments. Tell me what you're most looking forward to and whether I missed anything out in the video. You can let everyone know in the comments as well. Because hey, comments are cool, and leave a like. So hey, check out my other stuff on the channel, check out whatever, and if you like the stuff, then subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of Mafia 3. And any support would be appreciated. So thank you very much for watching this. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, see you in the next one, everyone. Take care and peace out. This game, it could be because he feels like he has to pay some debt to Joe, and he finds out about Joe's son, and therefore he needs to protect him or help him out or something, because he feels obliged to, because he got Joe killed. So I think that's a really neat kind of, maybe Vito could play a kind of fatherly role to Lincoln,